200 years ago, the world's population was about an eighth of what it is today. Most people lived close to the land. To them, nature seemed very big, and people were very small. The original model for managing our natural resources worked incredibly well for a long time. So well that it supported an unprecedented explosion in human life expectancy and global population. Now, the picture has become very different. People now seem very big, and nature smaller and smaller. The potential for serious environmental problems is real and growing.
In a world where our quality of life is under threat and the resources we need are getting increasingly scarce, green awareness is our best hope for the future.
Cities and regions that think green will be healthier and more desirable. Those that don't will face major problems that will discourage people from living there.
It's a good thing Atlanta's a leader in green practices.
Not only are we leading other cities in key areas like green construction, land management, recycling, and green transportation, we already have many projects underway, and more will be launching soon. At the center of everything are the city's green initiatives. In green construction, land management, urban forest, transportation, water quality and conservation, corporate leadership, and education. Today in Atlanta, we are truly experiencing a green revolution.
Mixed-use neighborhoods like Atlantic Station promote energy savings and efficiency. It's a place where people work, play, and shop, all within walking distance of their home. Plus, there's less energy used for transportation, the distribution of goods, and waste management. And when you multiply all this efficiency by hundreds or thousands,
you get the picture. But there are other ways that Atlantic Station is special. This building, 171 17th Street, is the first LEED Silver Core and Shell high-rise office building in the world.
LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's an internationally accepted benchmark for high-performance green buildings.
The City of Atlanta is a LEED leader. There are currently 39 LEED certified building projects underway. That's more than any other American city.
And the City of Atlanta has passed a resolution that all city finance construction will be LEED Silver certified.
LEED leadership wasn't enough for Atlanta. In 1999, the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association partnered with Southface, a local nonprofit organization, to create the Earthcraft House Residential Green Building Program. Earthcraft does for residential construction what LEED does in the commercial space. Green construction isn't the only thing that makes Atlanta unique.
Atlantic Station is the largest brownfield reclamation project in U.S. history and a model for the world. What is a brownfield?
A brownfield is land that was once used for industrial purposes. Brownfield land is typically contaminated by low concentrations of pollution or hazardous waste. Atlantic Station is built on the former site of the Atlantic Steel Mill. Atlantic Station's developers saw the value of urban reclamation and green practices. It's an example of smart land use, and it's about to be connected to another one.
The Atlanta Beltline is one of the most dynamic urban developments currently underway in the U.S. Few cities ever experienced this kind of rare historical opportunity. All over the city, neglected land like this is being secured for conversion into public green space. The Beltline is a loop of transit and multi-use trails that will link 45 historic neighborhoods near downtown Atlanta. The key element of the Beltline is 22 miles of light rail that will connect to existing MARTA lines and the proposed Peachtree streetcar. Multi-use trails will follow the rail routes and add 11 miles of trails.
The Beltline is an example of out-of-the-box green thinking that combines economic development, housing, historic preservation, transportation, parks, and green space. And yes, because it's being built along abandoned heavy rail lines, brownfield reclamation. But speaking of creating new green space,
In 2006, the city of Atlanta purchased the Bellwood Quarry, a 100-year-old granite quarry in the West Side District. This land is going to be transformed into West Side Park. At 300 acres, it will be the biggest and newest park in the city. And its centerpiece will be a lake and a 2 billion gallon reservoir. And it's all just a part of the massive upgrade Atlanta has underway.
The new West Side Park will be part of the Beltline and linked to its green spaces, so it will be accessible to everyone by MARTA, light rail, bike, or even sneakers.
This eastern hemlock in Chastain Park has been designated one of Georgia's champion trees. Atlanta is providing for the designation of historic and specimen trees because, well, when you think of Atlanta, you think of trees. But did you know that over 60% of Atlanta's natural tree canopy has been removed in the last 20 years?
This is one reason the city has adopted its tree canopy policy, with the goal of no net loss of the trees within the boundaries of the city. Trees and all green plants are cost-effective, natural allies. To bring the point home, the city has constructed the first governmental green roof in the southeast, right on top of City Hall. Green roofs act like microforests on top of buildings. They add insulation and neutralize CO2, and their living plants use rainwater instead of having it contribute to runoff. A roof like this makes a nice place to think green.
This is Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest. Here, construction is underway on the consolidated rental car facility. People will arrive at the center on an automated people mover. It will replace dozens of gas-burning shuttle buses. Hartsfield-Jackson has taken big steps to reduce aircraft emissions. A new runway was added to reduce taxiing. And the airport has put in these air and ground power units at all gates to help limit the use of standalone power units for servicing the aircraft.
And plans are also in the works for 2 major public transit projects. The Peachtree streetcar, which will connect Atlanta's in-town attractions and historic sites with shopping, hotels, and the Beltline. And a rail line from Atlanta to Lovejoy, which will make it possible for thousands of commuters to leave their cars at home.
here's Buford Dam. On the other side is Lake Lanier, the source of 100% of Atlanta's drinking water. On this side is the Chattahoochee River. In the early 2000s, the levels of coliform bacteria in the Chattahoochee reached more than 200 times normal counts and 35 times the acceptable level. In 2002, the city established Clean Water Atlanta with the mission of creating the cleanest urban streams and rivers in the country by 2012. In line with this goal, Atlanta began a $4 billion overhaul of its sewer system. Today, over half of the work is complete. The program is on target and on budget. And the Chattahoochee now exceeds the EPA's recreational use standards.
Earthcraft building codes and developments like Glenwood Park, a new mixed-use urban neighborhood in eastern Atlanta, happen because of Atlanta companies and organizations that think and act green. Government can have a big impact on quality of life, but it takes committed private investment of time, imagination, and capital to build a sustainable community.
But there are two more things you'll need if you're gonna have a green future.
And they are
education
And communication.
Atlanta has a full spectrum of resources for green learning, research, and getting involved, from local volunteer groups to world-leading institutions including Trees Atlanta, the Georgia Conservancy, the Georgia Aquarium, the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, and Zoo Atlanta.
But all of this is just a starting point. We need to come together in hundreds of other ways to keep Atlanta moving in the right direction. A good place to start is atlantagA.gov.
Atlanta has never shied away from a challenge. We come together and change happens.
It's what we do. We're making nature big again.
Atlantans working together with our characteristic can-do spirit and respect for nature can and will work wonders. Together we will achieve the balance needed for sustained growth both for our children and generations to come. We are privileged to live in a city that loves a challenge. We've got a great start. Together, let's make Atlanta the greenest city on earth.